Hey there, Matt Scratch here. Well, my S-Class is just too ugly. I can't even drive it. It's so ugly with this flat black paint, it just doesn't look right for a Benz. So we're gonna fix that real quick. We got some cheap gloss black. We're gonna just go right over to spray paint with. Hopefully it doesn't wrinkle. Here we go. This is the cheap paint that I bought for the car. This stuff's fairly available at most auto parts stores. I figured I'd go ahead and go with that because I think a lot of people might be curious how nice of a paint job you can get with this product. I'm going to do one coat of black on the whole car. I'm just going to lightly sand this spray paint. Hopefully it doesn't wrinkle when I do a coat of base black over it. That's what this is. It's an unshiny base, and then I'll have to add 2 coats of this shiny clear coat to get the shine I want. I just want to make clear that I am a body man and I know how to do this stuff properly. This video isn't going to be proper procedure, so if you're looking for a how-to video on auto body, this isn't really it. Okay guys, so I'm just going to be using 400 grit on my orbital sander here, just a Milwaukee electric orbital sander. Well, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon here, guys, and it will start to cool off around 7 or something. So my goal here is to just fly at it and get the paint on the front end of this car. I'm just going to go over everything with the Scotch pad now just to make sure it's all scuffed, and then we'll blow it off and get to masking. So now I'm just using a tack rag to get any loose stuff off. Okay, so we got our strainer and our gun, and we're just working outdoors here, so we got nothing to hold, but it's way too windy out here to be painting. So we're going to do it anyway. So we'll do about 30 psi. Okay guys, the base is pretty much all dry here. There's some reactions here with the spray bomb underneath, that's why it's kind of got that dull look to it there. But other than that, it turned out okay. It's pretty dull when it gets dry. It's probably because of the spray can paint underneath that is sort of sinking into and dulling it out. You can see that's happening quite a bit right here. There's like a chemical reaction where it's like wrinkled up. I think if we run the buffer over it in a few days, we might be able to get it to shine up the way we want. We're going to change up our strategy back here a bit and just use this little block with 320 on it. I'm having a lot of troubles with the 400 clogging, and it's just wasting a lot of expensive paper. So I'm going to knock it down first with this, and then I'll go over it with the 400. I'm making pretty good progress. All that's done in the 320, so I still got to go over it with the 400 on the orbital sander, because 320 scratches will definitely show. You know, we've had a little bit of a change in weather conditions, and it kind of brings me to another topic that I haven't yet covered, and that is wet sanding. So this is waterproof sandpaper, and wet sanding can actually work pretty good because the water sort of carries away the dust, and it keeps the paper really clean. Okay, well, we'll just show you a little bit of the technique here with the wet sanding. So just use the same motions you would dry. Oh yeah, it's coming up really nice, guys. A little bit of ice buildup on there, but you know. Well guys, the sun's shining today, but the wind's also blowing, and that's been the story for the last couple days. I came out here yesterday and prepped up the roof. So I just got this area here where there was the chip out of the body filler and the cracks in it. In the back quarter here all ground out, and I was pleasantly surprised that there's no rust hiding under here or anything. It looks like it was actually just in. You can clearly see where they used a uni spotter to pull it out. But they didn't do a very good job. Really, repairs like this need like the pogo stick to get a good proper pull. This will still need a lot of work, and you'll see what I mean here when I close the door. See how up here the gap is? That's a nice gap, but as you get down, it gets really tight and almost touches. So there's a lot of metal work left to be done, and I just don't have time to do it right now. So I'm just going to grind it all off nice to make sure no rust is forming here and refill it for now until I have time to deal with it properly. There you can see I've got it all fully prepped for fill now. It's all prepped in 60 grit now, so it'll stick good. Just mixing up the filler here. Go a little heavy on the hardener because we're working outside here. You don't want to stir it, you want to work the air out of it as you go, so you just keep going like that and squeezing it until it's all mixed in an even color. I kind of get what I need on there first, and then I go back and smooth it all after, so looks a little messy at first. So when you're putting filler on like this, and gravity has a way of, you know, messing with you, so you can go when it's almost dry with your putty knife or a razor blade and just save yourself a whole bunch of sanding by kind of trimming those spots off. There we go. Saves us a lot of work. So I just got some 60 grit on here, and I'll be roughing that out quick. Okay, we just roughed it all out with the 60 grit there, and now I'm just going to take some 120 by hand here and finish shaping it. This filler's still not completely cured, and it sands a bit easier when it's not completely cured, so if you can get on it right away, that's to your benefit. Okay, I'm all finished up with 220 grit. That's just one coat of filler is all it took there, but I do have a bunch of little pinholes. I'm just using this single part lacquer putty to fill in those pinholes. Here's how it looks with the lacquer putty over it. I just did a coat over everything, and that way if there's any deep scratches or anything, they were taken care of. There's your final look at it before I put some primer on it. Took me about 2 hours start to finish to do that. The final coat is just drying here. Just doing some final edge prep. There's a bit of a delay in this because of weather. We had just non-stop rain for a long time, and I was really committed to doing this outside, so I had to just wait it out. Now I'm just removing this emblem here, and I thought some of you might want to know that it pries off real easy. In fact, I'm just using my Swiss Army knife to, there's 3 little tabs that go into like a little plastic bushing in there, and so you just work it out evenly. and just like that, see? Well, dry sanding, the paper kept clogging up, so I turned to wet sanding. I've already wet sanded half the roof in 400, so that's my final step here. So I'm just using a little spray bottle to keep things wet. Okay guys, it's late in the evening here now, but I'm all done prepping, so as soon as I get a nice day I can spray. That worked really good, wet sanding it with the 400. I just washed and dried the car here. Well, it's still air drying, but well, about the time I got... Shut up, Crow. Well, about the time I was putting the last piece of masking on, the rain started. So I don't know. I finished up and we'll see how much it rains here. I'm still hoping to maybe spray this today, but it's not looking very promising. Well guys, this is happening. Shouldn't be happening. The weather conditions really aren't ideal, but I've got it masked up and I'm not that fussy about it, so we're gonna spray it on anyway. I'm just gonna tack the car off quick. Okay guys, here's where we're at. I got the black base coat on the whole car, and I've decided not to clear the roof because the roof is really rough. It turned out with a lot of dirt in it and stuff, so I'm going to spray the sides and the trunk lid, and then later I'll be resanding at least the hood, maybe the front fenders too, and the roof, and then I'll respray them. Well guys, my regulator is on the fritz and it keeps cycling in and out on the pressure there. So I'm going to go find another regulator. That's caused me a lot of problems here. Okay guys, here it is in all its ugliness. I'm a little embarrassed to even show this. A lot of factors at play here, but the main thing was my regulator messed up, and that's what actually caused all this debris in the paint. What was happening is the when I did the base coat, the regulator went to too high of a pressure, and that caused it to spray out like dry paint, like bits of dry paint, and it spread all over the car and stuck. So that, and it's insanely windy out here today, and I've had a threat of rain the whole time, so it is what it is. Anyways, this is on here, 2 coats of clear. The roof I did not do. That's this base coat on the roof because I knew it would be so rough there'd be no hope of even polishing it. So I have to sand the roof in like 600, and then I'm just going to tape off on this line and clear the center of the roof. Okay guys, I'm trying to get it all done here today, so I'm going to wet sand the roof real quick with 400 actually, a little coarse, and then slap a coat of clear coat on it, and then the whole car will be ready to buff at least. Okay guys, I'm back at it. I'm going to clear the roof here real quick. This is all the clear I have left. Okay guys, the fun part, unwrapping it. Well guys, I'm seriously annoyed with this weather. I got the roof all cleared there, just one quick coat of clear, and then it started pouring with rain. I'm hoping that doesn't ruin the clear and I can still polish it up and make it look like something. Okay guys, well the car's completely unmasked, completely cured up, and I even did a little polishing on the front. Just ran the power buffer over this fender. I'm not quite done, but you can see the results. It's really coming up nice. And so I think I can get the whole car like this. It's just going to take a little time. Okay guys, well we're going to be wet sanding to start with. The hood's actually the worst, and you can see visually how rough it is here. So we're just going to wet sand this all with 1500, finish up with 2000, and then hit it with the buffer. Okay, well I just finished going over it with 2000 now. A little bit quicker on that step, and I threw the 1500 over there. I'll use it for the other half of the hood, and now I'll wipe all this off so that the dust doesn't dry on there, and move on to the other side. Now that that's dried, you can really see how cut down it is, and so we'll buff it up now. I've actually just got a dirty bathroom towel to buff it back off with. That works pretty good, a cotton towel or a microfiber cloth. I'm not really an expert on buffing or anything, but you can kind of judge from my results here, I guess. Okay, so we got a foam pad here and our Meguiar's Ultimate Compound. Whoa, we'll try one. Buffing up nicely, guys. I'm just going to wet this a little. You should avoid all the spray around. As I said, I'm not a professional, but I know that it's not good to, that's hard to get off. Okay, a little progress report. You can see I got that half of the hood done. You can see how nicely that's come up on that side. So I'm pretty happy with that for what I got into it. I've got $240 into this paint job so far. So, okay guys, I'm just doing another walk around update. I've got all the wet sanding done now, so that half of the hood's all sanded, and the whole top edge of the car here is all sanded, all up the pillar, all down the edge of the roof, the whole trunk lid. And of course all down this side. Another quick update here. There's already some dew settling on the hood for the night, so the middle of the hood looks dull, but it's actually all shiny. I've got everything done except the roof. I still got to polish the roof, but I'm running out of daylight here, so I figured I'd do a quick little update before it got totally dark. You can see how nice that's come up everywhere. I'm actually really happy with it. And the car's relatively straight too. I mean, now that it's shiny, looking down the sides of it, it's really not in bad shape. Now that it's all as shiny as I can make it, I just want to kind of protect it and keep it that way. And so I've chosen this Meguiar's Gold Class wax here. Got some lint on it off my buffer, the cotton bonnet there, but the one thing that does seem to be missing here, and you want to make sure that you find the arrow on the back side there. See that arrow? That goes up. There, that looks a lot better. Here's the final update and walk around of the paint job. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's not perfect, but I didn't plan on it being perfect even when I started. I did do quite a bit of polishing on the car to bring the shine back, because going over that spray paint, this lacquer actually reacted quite a bit, and it kind of sank into the spray paint and dulled it out. But as you can see, it buffed up nice, and I put about 35 hours into it, polishing on it, believe it or not, which was okay. I learned a lot in the process. I hadn't had a lot of polishing experience previous to this, and this little project really got me up to speed on polishing. So I could have easily just sanded it down and re-cleared it, and that probably would have been the quicker way to fix that, but I felt like polishing it. Thanks for watching Matt's Garage. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Mercedes-Benz content, and have yourself a great day.